Levy, you ready? No shake.
This is right down the road.
If you go knock on the window and ask them to come on out and join us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again back to the 2016 Veteran in Politics International Interviews. Our candidate for this session is Ms. Connie Foust, who is a candidate for the Nevada State Assembly in District 19. Ms. Foust, will you just tell us a little bit about yourself and where your district is located?
Okay. I am a retired mother, grandmother. I have worked in law enforcement. My husband and I are from Montana. We lived in Mesquite, Nevada for 4.5 years. Prior to that, we were 10 years in Arizona. 8 of those years we were on the Arizona border, south of Sierra Vista. At that time, I became involved with the Minuteman Civil Defense Program, and I served on the border in many capacities, but ending up as the National Border Operations Director. I'm big on Homeland Security, and we have a wide open border, and I've been an activist all of my life. I also worked for Huachuca as a contractor for 3 years, teaching Iraqi and Afghan culture to candidates that were just graduating out of the class for to teach them how to stay alive in the villages. We actually had a village and we bombed them and attacked them and shot them and whatever. And to teach them when they went in, actually into a village, what could happen to them.
Ms. Foust, can you tell us a little bit about where your district is?
My district is, it starts in Mesquite, where I live, which is on the northeast corner of Nevada. It comes on down through the Moapa Valley, partial. Then it comes into North Las Vegas, part of Endorse, and we wind up with a little part of a district in Boulder City. It is the second largest district in the state, and it's the most diverse.
Thank you very much. Let's begin with Mr. Ahern.
How are you today, Ms. Foust?
I'm fine.
Fantastic. What type of benefits do you feel veterans are missing in the state that could be added to the programs?
My big concern, number one, I'll tell you as a state candidate, I understand fully that most of the things that are going to be done are going to be federal, okay? However, with that said, I always am concerned when I come into Las Vegas. I always seem to end up down with the homeless down there in that little circle, you know? And
where do you think that the state should have some sort of a law to help protect students in relationships with teachers?
you know, they're looking at an old new program right now to protect. I actually think, if you really want to know what I think the teachers need more protection from the students. And I think that we have to get back to basics in the schools, and I think the principals, the administration, it's incumbent on them to do the disciplinary and the teachers to teach. And we're looking at doing that when I get up to the assembly.
Ms. Foust, my name is Tipitar. My condolences for your husband. As a California man, I appreciate your work on the border, and I appreciate what you bring to the race as far as a greater aspect on the federal level and how to work with the federal government, being a state representative if you're elected. So here's my question. How far would you be willing to work with the federal representatives in your area and trying to fix the issues for your state? Would you be more inclined to what's practical or what's more beneficial to the state?
That's an interesting question. I gotta think about that. So far, federally, our federal officials from Nevada, when it comes to border and security issues, all of them are getting an F on the conservative review online in Numbers USA. So I would like to help them along to understand we have true security issues on the border and in Nevada. And I would be happy to work with them, but it's risky to step out there and say, it's not a racist thing to say we have to secure our country. And they don't want to take that leap. I'll be honest, I talked to them about it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mhm.
You touched on the mental health and alcohol and drug issues for veterans, but overall, we have a crying need in Clark County for more resources for mental health generally, not just veterans. How would you address that?
I have very little experience in the mental health area. I know we have a clinic in Mesquite that is, ran by the state. I also am aware that they have in the past put people on buses and shipped them to California. Am I correct? Rather than treat them? Do you remember that?
Well, I'm not allowed to go back and forth.
Oh, I'm
No
sorry.
crosstalk, sorry.
I really apologize. At any rate, I remember that happening about 2 years ago or so with one, I believe the man was a veteran. Got off a bus in California. I'm not opposed to any program that will help people, but if we are going to have programs, we have to find the money somewhere, okay? Which means I feel going up to the assembly, it's my responsibility that we have enough money for things. We don't have money for new programs. The state is broke. So I want to have programs, but we also have to have audits in certain agencies and that, and kind of straighten it out. You can't just throw money at a program or start a new program.
Okay, Fred Conquest, from Citizens for a Better America. You live in a district that's gerrymandered to the max, I would say.
Mhm.
Would you support the total redistricting of Nevada so that it's not simply set up so one party wins one district and another party maybe wins another district? Kind of with the rule that, the balance should be built in there and then people have to earn the votes?
Yes, I would support that. I'll tell you why. Being a candidate in a district like this is so diverse and so big, it's very hard for me to get everywhere. And I mean, it's hard. And I can't represent my people the way I want all the way through. And it's been on my mind. I've been thinking about this for a while, and it's really goofed up because I have Overton, and then I have the northeast part of Logandale, but I don't have the other part of Logandale. And then I jump up and I've got another piece, and then I don't have Moapa. They've really, really messed up our district. And it's hard on the candidate, and it's not fair to the voter, frankly.
Connie, my name is Scott Lafada. I'm with Citizens for a Better America. What is your plan to fix education in Nevada?
Okay, I'm working currently with, I have an education advisor by the name of Jim Blocky. Do you know Jim? We're actually looking at trying to get back to the basics, and we need to stop social engineering in the schools. They say we're 50th in the nation, we're actually 51st, we're behind Puerto Rico, okay? So we're throwing lots of money at the school district with nothing generated from that. Jim wrote a book called Public Education, the Worst Form of Child Abuse in the country. And it absolutely is. We're not teaching our children, they're coming, I oppose Common Core. Right now, we're data mining children. If you're aware of that, we're one of 15 states that still allow that, and that information is going back to Washington, D.C. And we need to protect our children, we need to educate our children. I feel very strongly about this, very strongly. So I would definitely be doing some.
Hi, Ms. Foss. My name is Monty Levy. I have a question I'd like to get your opinion on. Currently, there are 7 states in our country that ban atheists from holding public office. What's your opinion on that?
Well, that's one I've never thought of, actually, being a Catholic. I don't consider atheism a religion. It's a lifestyle choice, in my opinion. And now maybe an atheist would consider it a religion. I do not. But I wouldn't ban it, okay? I don't know that I would classify it as a religion.
Well, it's a belief that there is no God, so.
Well, we all have beliefs, so you can't, that's a hard one. In fact, I don't even think it's a fair one. I wouldn't vote to ban anything like that.
Good afternoon, Ms. Foust. My name is Karen Stillman. I'm the Auxiliary Director of Veterans in Politics. Thank you for being here this afternoon. I'm glad you brought up the Tea Party issue. My question to you is, there's been some controversy within the Tea Party movement that the Republican Party members have deliberately infiltrated the Tea Party movement to further Republican Party members in office. And I know you are a member of the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's some controversy with that, with the Tea Party that you were president of. So could you address that, please?
Actually, I don't remember any controversy since I've been president at all. We have all kinds of members. We have libertarians. I don't know that we have any Democrats. I will tell you that. Not any that would step up and say so. But Tea Party is not a party. It's not a political party. Tea Party is a philosophy of smaller government, less taxes, greater personal freedom. The problem that I see that the Tea Party has is it's been used by people like my opponent to profess to believe in those things, and then when they get to the assembly, they don't believe in smaller government, less taxes, and greater personal freedom.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. We're moving along pretty well here, so I'm going to bring it back, and let's go ahead and give the panel one more run. Mr. Ahern?
Thank you, sir. You said that you were a member of the Minutemen at some particular point in your life, and you talked about borders. What would be your specific plan to secure our borders?
Well, first of all, we've got to stop the corruption from the cartel and within our own Congress. And that's a reality. That border could have been secure a long time ago. But there's a lot, I mean, we're talking billions of dollars in narcotics that are coming across that border. And the human trafficking also. I'm very familiar with what goes on the border. I'm still active with border. And I get, last week I got a picture. Border people don't just stop people from coming in, and they haven't in years, but they do report to the Border Patrol. Border Patrol isn't allowed to do anything with them right now under the Obama administration. So these people are free to go. However, last week they found a lady dying that had been out there for 6 days. And they do good things. They got Borstar in and saved her life. So, the fence, I don't want to disappoint anybody, but Donald Trump's wall isn't going to happen. All right? Anyway, if you lived on the border, worked on the border, it's not going to happen. And if it does happen, the first monsoon rain that comes through the south down there is going to blow it right out, and we'll be continually building it. So it will never be a wall like people envision. Okay?
What would your first action be once elected?
Probably go out for a drink, but actually, I have some things that I'm looking at I want to do when I get up there. And I went out for the special session for Faraday and got a real eye-opener on lobbyists, unions, those kinds of things. I'm very conservative, so my first action would be to put my taxpayer protection pledge in a frame and hang it on the wall so that when the lobbyists come in, they would see that and know that I'm not going to vote to raise taxes unless they can change programs to accommodate it. We're not going to give more money.
Ma'am, I've been in Las Vegas for 42 years, know a lot of people in the state government. And the reality is that legislatures, people have to compromise to get certain things done.
Yes, it is.
Are you going to be one of those people who would just stand so hard on principle that you would never compromise and agree to pass any bills out of the legislature just because you may be in a minority in your political views?
No, I can compromise, but they have to also. So many times they come with their hand out. I handled a $14 million budget with the Sheriff's Department for 8 years. And there are two types of individuals that are working within that. There are those that understand what the budget is, and there are those who try to get more out of the budget than you can give them. And so it always came back to me if they thought they needed something, and I did have to make a determinant, but that didn't mean that they couldn't get it. But when the whole group of SWAT team decided they needed new vests all at once, it was a big no. You know what I mean? They had vests, but they liked the new ones. Sometimes you just have to draw a little line in the sand and maybe point out a better way. And I do think there's a lot of fraud and abuse within our government in Nevada. I've lived in other areas. I've seen how I worked with my budget. Like I said, it was $14 million. Missoula County is the size of Clark County. It has not got the number of people, obviously, it's Montana, but we had outposts and several cars and trucks and boats and snowmobiles. All those things had to be, you had to pay for service and care of those things plus wages. We always managed to save enough from our budget to hire a new hire. And I will tell you another thing we did there is we gave veterans preference. So if someone applied who was a vet, they had about a 5-point preference when they were interviewed. So, but I just see there are ways to manage government well, and there are other ways to, it's not my money and it's not your money. It's the taxpayers' money. When I go up there, I'm going to look at it that way. It is the taxpayers' money. Okay.
How are you going to address, or would you address how money can corrupt certain politicians and kind of switch their votes for this person, that person, or that issue, this issue? What's your feeling about that, and how would you address the corruption of money and how it affects politicians?
I can't prove anything about corruption of politicians. I only know what I know and what I decide from what I know. In my particular race, my opponent went up as a conservative and did not vote to keep the conservative leadership. Shortly after that, he got a $5,000 donation from Governor Sandoval. Now, I don't know what to think of that, but he was only one of two, and the other one was Derek Armstrong. And to do with Hispanics, by the way. It's a homeland security issue. It has to do with drugs, and it has to do with trafficking. And I've seen a lot of suffering out there, to be honest, too much.
Thank you.
Ms. Foust, want to lead you in. Did you attend the county convention at the Rio last week, and who do you support for the U.S. presidency and why?
I did not attend it because, lo and behold, the Clark County Fair is in